Hello and welcome back to Jillies Nails. Today I want to talk to you about stampers. When you're learning how to stamp, it's very important that you understand your tools, how your tools work, and how they will affect you. Stamping your nails is something that does take some patience. It's not always something that will work perfect the first time. Some people get lucky and it does. Some people really ride the struggle bus with it. So I want to talk to you about the different kind of stampers that are available, how those stampers can help you, and what you can do to get going with it, know which one might be best for you. Maybe you need to start a little easier and work up to some harder ones, and we're going to go from there. When we're done with all of this, if you have any questions, please just drop me a comment below. I'll be happy to answer it if I can. If I can't, I'll try to find the answer for you. The first stamper that I have for you, I honestly do not even know if you can find these anymore. This was from Queen. This came with a double-sided stamper. It also came with a scraper card. It did not come with plates or anything like that. Now, these are clearly not clear. This was the very first stamper I ever purchased. The reason I chose to purchase this one when I did was not because I was like an OG nail stamper. I wasn't. I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now, but I've been stamping for a while. I was not an OG, so clear was available when I first started stamping. However, these kind of have a sticky texture to them. You can almost see, and they've got hair on them. That should tell you how sticky they are. But they do have a little bit of grab and stick to them. This side is more of the marshmallowy texture to it, so it's a little more squishy, and this one's just a little more sticky. These, in my opinion, are really good if you're brand new and not confident with nail art. These are kind of idiot-proof, and I don't mean that derogatory, but they work almost every single time. As long as you do a good job scraping, you're going to get a good pickup with these. However, the downside is pretty obvious. It's not clear. So it's very difficult to see what you're doing with these. And you have to kind of just go on faith that you're in the right place. You make sure it's clean, you stamp on it, and then you would actually take your nail and press your nail into the stamp, or just go for it and roll it across. But most people, when they use these, would go in and just kind of, it makes layered stamping really hard because you can't see. So these are like no good really for layered stamping. Unless you're doing like a background image and then a smaller image, sure. And when I tried to stamp with gel polish, and I did have gel stamping polish, this was the only stamper that would actually pick it up. I couldn't get it to pick up on the clear. So I found that very interesting too. So if you see these around and you see them for an inexpensive price, you might want to pick it up just in case you have a product that's just odd. But again, I thought it was good, and if you have somebody who really wants to get into it, it's not a bad little stamper. So those are opaque stampers. The next stamper that I want to talk to you about, we're starting our journey to clear stampers. There are so many clear stampers out there. They have, every company has them. You can get them on Wish. You can get them from any place. When it comes to the clear stampers, I do personally feel like there is a quality thing there. I've noticed that a lot of the less expensive stampers that are clear tend to be a lot more oily and have a lot more residue on them. They're just a little messier in general. It doesn't mean they don't work. It just means that there's clearly a quality issue there somewhere. This is the first one out of the clear ones I want to show you. They call it an ice cube stamper because it looks like an ice cube. These come in all of the Maniology starter kits. And the first time you order the Mani by Me box, you will get an ice cube stamper in the box. Maniology is not the only company that makes these. However, a lot of people do not like these. A lot of beginners do not like these, and a lot of people will flat out say they don't work. That's not true. They do work. They are not always the best choice depending on the design that you're doing. If you want something really super intricate with lots of teeny tiny lines, I would not recommend this one. But if you have a bolder, something that's, a plate like this that has the chevrons and the stripes and kind of, just big bold designs on it, it's fine. You start getting into this stuff where it looks fuzzy because it's not even in focus while we're talking, maybe, maybe not. That's when it starts getting a little tricky and a little iffy with these. But the price point on these is generally lower. They're decent. They do work. Does it work for you? That's the question. What I've also discovered though is sometimes they may not work at first, and the more experienced you get stamping, the more you'll be able to make them work. So if you find that you've bought something like this and you don't like it, just set it to the side in a drawer. You may come back to it later and shock yourself with how much you love it. The next stamper style that's out there is the Monocle stamper. These are large, round. They look like a monocle. The thing that's awesome about these, in my opinion, these are great for fine lines. Like if something's really super detailed, lots of feathers, that kind of stuff, this is a good one for that. It's also very cool. Do I get the bug eye? So, the other thing that's nice about this is they're huge. So, they're huge without being obnoxious. So if you have really long nails, like look, I'm at the back of my nail. I still have plenty of room over here. I could really stamp both my nails off of this one stamper. So it is great for larger nails, for super long nails, because you've got lots of room to do coverage on here. And these are really good, in my opinion, for super fine lines and very detailed stuff. When it comes to both of these, I do recommend that you have more than one. If you're going to do reverse stamping or anything like that, you have to have dry time. So it's always a good idea to have extras just kind of hanging out around. That'll help you get through your projects faster. There's also these kind of little stampers. Some of these are from Queen. One of them might be a Beauty or something. See, all these people send them to you. Some of them are good and some are not. I personally don't care for these kind of telescopic ones where it's got like a long thing, because you can't really see it as well. It's not as clear. And it might just be me. I have an astigmatism. So, but for me personally, I don't love these. They're still just a clear stamper. If you find it and it works for you and they're great, then please use them. But they're also a little bit smaller on the ends here. So when it comes to, you know, like the big images, this barely covers my thumbnail. So, you know, and I do have big nails. Like I have big, wide nail beds. So, you know, if you have teeny tiny nails, these might be really great for you. But for me, they're kind of, I'll use them, but they're not my favorite. The last one I have to show you, and see, these all come in different brands. Like this is Born Pretty. These are Queen. These like telescopic ones are Queen. This one is Queen. This is Maniology. So all of these different brands have them. Born Pretty, this one works fine too. It's great. It's all soft and squishy. This one, the back falls out, which irritates me. So I don't use it very much, but it's fine. It works great. Last but not least is Clear Jelly Stamper. When I first started stamping, this one was the one that everybody was in love with. It was the big sparkly one. It is clear jelly. It's just worn off because I've been using it a lot lately. Let me take that back. I'm 99.9% sure it's clear jelly. It might not. It might be a dupe of a clear jelly, but when I first bought this one, I hated this stamper. Hated it. I watched the lady who owns Clear Jelly Stamper on with Susie from Nail Career Education. They did quite a bit of video on it, watched it several times, and could not get this thing to work to save my life. So I set it aside for several years. Now it's one of my favorites, especially because as it comes through, it magnifies everything, so it makes it easier for you guys to see it. You can also take all the extra pieces out of it for cleaning. I really like that. And it's squishy, but it's firm. Sometimes these Monocle ones, when you push on them, it can pop all the way out. You have to really push on that one to get it even close to it. So I find that this is a very high quality, very good one. But if you are a beginner and you just want to go in there and mash, you're not going to like this stamper. This is one where you just literally have to kind of float it across. Ooh, and that's a good way to demo that. So like a lot of people will go in and just mash, and it mashes the stamp into it, right? What you would actually want to do is try to hold your finger straight and just let it float. So if you practice this way, if you feel your finger pushing down at all, you're pushing too hard. It should not be, you should not have resistance. It should just be a glide. You're just guiding it in the direction you want it to go.
I wanted to come in and show you some swatches that I did, like this Queen Squishy Stamper swatch. It looks bad, but I think that was my fault because I rolled it instead of, or I stamped it hard instead of just a roll motion. So if you look on the top and bottom, it looks like that's where I just smushed it funny from the roll. The Queen Sticky, Don't like it, don't want to use it. It was being difficult. It's a story. The ice cube stamper came out okay. The edges are a little frayed. The clear jelly one is like that too. I'm not sure if that's from the polish or if it just wasn't a clean pickup. I honestly don't remember at this point. To me, the one that looks the best on here is the Monocle stamp. It came out nice and clear, but again, the ice cube and the clear jelly might have been me and how I put polish in the plate. Some of this stuff is user error, ladies and gents. Some of it is a problem because we make a mistake or we could have done better. It's not always the stamper if something doesn't look great. Like, I know that clear jelly stamper works great. I know that Monocle stamper works great, and the ice cube stamper is also very nice. So, those are the swatches. Hope you like them.
That is it. Those are all the stampers that I have on hand at the moment. If you have questions about them, if you would like a recommendation, you can always send me your pictures on Instagram of your nails, and we'll see if I can help you out with that. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you'll come back again. Make sure you leave me a comment, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.